to be honest, there's a big difference between work and hard work. And I think we all love to work. And this band, the way we work best is not by hard work. It's just by work. And we make an effort to cut out the hard and just go with the work. Yeah.
Tumbleweeding through my life, speeding through memory. Autopilot Dynasty.
Flying Through the Walls is like the title of the album as well, and it's I think it's also a good sentence because it pictures our band as well. And like we like to try out new things and do what people not necessarily want from us and what they expect from us, but we want to like do our own thing. You know, we have people like record labels or really cool people from the industry telling us you should do this or this to be commercial, and every time that happens we do something else. And it's like it's not clever commercially, but in terms of keeping the energy together as a band, it's really, really nice. And I think this whole this thing about going through the walls that you can see on our homepage as well, it's just the way we think. Like everything is possible. Basically, we just like go for it.
I will need to let it play.
In the beginning, we tried just to do like mash up lyrics with the Bowie kind of crazy ideas of making lyrics, just like random, completely random. But I think it's also because we as a band, we want to also explore new territories and you know, challenge each other. So it's very obvious that, you know, there's a song about sexuality, a song about a guy tripping out in the desert, a song about like more specific things. It's also just because we can do that, and it's a new paint we can paint, and it's really inspiring to just develop as a band instead of just repeating yourself all the time over and over again.
Yeah, it's like with the suits, right? A lot of people just said, hey, you should keep playing the funky bass and the funk guitar and playing skeleton suits. And it's like a joke you tell too many times. You need to go somewhere else.
We had this idea of we wanted to spend a lot of time going into the studio and just play around, like just jam a lot, like, and challenge ourselves so that we would go somewhere new that we didn't go so much before, and that it was like 2-3 grown-up men going into the studio, like going into a playground, and then just see whatever happens. So that was a real creative process, and it was really, really fun. And we spent a lot of time doing that. And we, in that process, we also teamed up with different other people so that they could kind of inspire us. Like we had like this electronic guy called Simon Litauer doing weird modular synthesizers, and we were jamming with him. And we had like also Kenton/Demon, who are also electronic producers. They were helping us also for a while, and we just tried to have a lot of fun just playing as we do live, but then we just took it like seriously and went into the studio and just spent hours and hours just having fun and playing around. And this album is the product of 3 grown-up men going to kindergarten.
When you look at this whole synth heaven, the funny thing is when we play live, it's you know, drums, real drums, and a real bass guitar and a real guitar. And when we play live, it's like, for me, I really want to play the synth and turn knobs, and the guys are like, no, you should play the bass. The bass is so cool, it gives me a hard on when I play the drum and you play the bass. And then when we go into the studio, it's like our aim is always to, yeah, we are a band, so we should use guitars and drums because all these other guys are turning knobs. And we go in, and what works great live, when you go into the studio and we have our playground, I start playing the bass and it's like, no.
We'll find a synth bass instead.
Let's start. Yeah, that's really good.
The synthesizers.
So it's like live, it's like, please play the bass. And studio, it's like, please play the synth.
Jeg er ikke færdig, mand. Kør billedet!
just realized that live is one thing, and even though we try to bring all this live energy into the studio, the knobs and the synths and this stuff is just more fun and it works better. I don't know why, but it ends up that way. And maybe on this album, I think more than ever before,
we embraced
it, yeah, fuck it, the bass guitar, fuck it, you know. Every time you could just do a little thing and that's it. And then it's the knobs.
We even had, like a long studio session in Amsterdam with a real studio, real drums, real bass, great studio equipment. And we ended up using, I think maybe one drum fill like just cut out like and then maybe a guitar in some track.
Yeah,
that didn't make it to the album.
That didn't make it to the album.
Oh,
so
the song didn't
basically
make it,
nothing real instruments from that session. We have some real instruments obviously, but it's very synth and production driven, the album. The way we make music best is to hit something in the first minute we start doing it. And then if we hit it in the right way, it's a good song. And it's gonna stay good no matter what we do to it. And that's the best way we do it, like find something instantly that's good. So the process is not as much spending a lot of time in doing one track, it's more spending a lot of time doing a lot of songs and then ending up with the perfect ones and finalizing them afterwards.
Which is dragging us back to the playground, because when you have that feeling, that short moment in time when you have the creativity, you feel now something's going on, that's where we really feel it's happening.
Yeah, we also just discussed on the way down that we really like to be artists, like to explore stuff and not just be a band. Then I take my fucking guitar and I write a song. We want to go places, and the way we do it when we play concerts, it's like we travel the world and we get drunk and we go to Mexico, we go everywhere and we have a lot of fun. And people consider us, a lot of people who go to our concerts, they just want to be lifted. So we go there. The funny thing is that we go in the studio, the thing that works best for us is like super dry. We get up, we meet at 8 in the morning, work until 4 in the afternoon, and we do it for a month, and then we take a break. And that's kind of how we work, and it's funny, it's so different. Maybe that's also why the album sounds different. Maybe if you got drunk and did them in the evening, it would be different, I don't know.
I'm not sure it would be better though.
No. We are a very busy band, and what you see is only half of the story. We made solo albums, some even did apps, and you know, we do all sorts of stuff. So WhoMadeWho is something we go into and we go out of again. And all three of us, we love to work and we have a lot of energy. And the big trick for our band, also in the studio, to talk about how we work with the albums, is to channelize the energy right. Because if we go too long, we implode. So you need to just focus the energy and get out again. And that's kind of how we work.
But it's right, we are kind of restless, but I think we get our inspiration from also changing our goals during our career. So for instance, the EP we did on, the Ember EP we did on Get Physical was just like it only took 2 weeks to make that whole EP, and we're pretty happy about that EP. And it was kind of just again, like Dreams was kind of like solid songs and commercial productions, some of them were. And then we did like the totally opposite, just to blow up some steam or whatever, like just find each other, have fun together in the studio and release it on a cool label. So, and we really try, because we've been banned for a while now, and just try to do things that makes us really happy, creativity, and also like personally, like having fun together, both on tour and in the studio. I think that's very important. Obviously, it's important to have a good output, but it's just important to be happy while doing it.